Hi everyone, and welcome to our last ancient numbers system, and we're going to be talking about Chinese. So it turns out that the worksheets that I have actually use the modern day glyphs for the Chinese numbers, but I'm going to show you kind of how they turned into that, what they started with. So back in as far back as in the second millennium BCE, so like 2000 before, that's like 4,000 years ago. Got it? There are examples of using bamboo rods, and then they use them in a base 10 system just like that we do. And there's a vertical system or a horizontal system. So one was either a bamboo stick this way or a bamboo stick this way. Two is 2 and 2, and so on through 5. So 3 was 3, 4 is 4, and 5 is 5. That way's easy. It's hard to smush them in vertically. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got it. Nailed it. Okay. So then 6, if you're doing the vertical numbers, 6 ended up looking like this, kind of like a T. So one bamboo would go across that way and one bamboo would come down. But I've also seen it where it's just upside down. 7 was either, if we're doing the vertical like that, or if we're doing it this way, it's like that. So you can still see there's some indication of, I don't know, in this way the bar is like 5. Yeah, in this way the bar is 5, and then the other ones are, anyway, sorry, words. Here we go. 8, we just follow this pattern there, or follow the pattern this way. 1, 2, 3. And 9 and 9 that way. So I've seen it both ways. And again, like I said, they put these together in just in the places. And so like if we wanted to do 924, 9 in the hundreds place, so I'm going to do the vertical 9 and then 2 and 4, like that. And like I said, this was the like 2000. This was used from like 2000 BCE up until like the 1500s. They used versions of the bamboo rods. I'll write that down. Bamboo rods. Okay. Then after that, they kind of morphed into what they call Suzhou. I don't speak Chinese. I don't claim to speak Chinese, but this version of numbers was used in some places all the way up until the 1990s, especially in Hong Kong, apparently, in accounting books, like in accounting, that was an M. Accounting, bookkeeping, which is kind of a different word for accounting, and in the markets. Okay, and you'll see that there's kind of a similarity. You can see kind of how these morphed from what they had before. So I'm just going to make the list out this way because I think it'll be more efficient space-wise. So they did have a 0, which is nice. So our 0 was a 0. And our 1 was, their 1. And 2 is 2. And 3, it's got the shorter stick in the middle. And then 4 is kind of a fancy X. And I am not an artist, and so this is kind of hard for me. Doing my best. 5. Something, and then it went around like this, and then kind of like that. And then 6 was very similar to what was happening over here. 7, I need to smush them a little bit. Again, also very similar to what was happening up there. 8. Again, pretty much the same thing as it was. And then 9 went a little wonky. And we got the fancy X from the 4, but with like a line across the top and a thing like that. Okay, so this set of shapes is kind of what they had. And then it kind of morphed, and they have simple numerals as well as fancy numerals. The fancy ones are for like check writing and that sort of thing. I cannot draw them. I'm not even going to try. But I will show you what the modern, and again, you'll see how they're very similar. The modern simple numerals. Okay, so again, I won't write them across. I'll try to put them a little. 0 is still 0, so that's nice. And then we switched from being vertical to horizontal for the first 3. So we got 1, 2, and 3. And with the 3, make sure you make the middle line shorter. And then 4 changed. And it's like that. And then you got a line that kind of goes like this. And this one is a little bit more like that. Whew! 5. Kind of like a H with lines on the top and the bottom. Something like this, and then that. And 6. 6 I feel like is a little combination of what it used to be. Like this, but then it's got lines coming out. To me, it kind of looks like a little person running. So it's a little stick figure. And when you see the worksheet we're going to be doing, see, it kind of looks like a stick figure. Anyway, sure. 7 is kind of like a J with a cross through it. And 8 is kind of like that. And 9 is kind of like that. Oh, it's all good. I'm trying. Okay, so that's how to get 0 through 9. Then they're a lot more, they write their bigger numbers. They've got a shape for 10, and then for each of the powers of 10 up to 10,000, and then bigger than that, they say it how many 10,000s they have. So basically 10 is a plus. They do have a shape for 20, and it's kind of something like this. But they don't use that as much as they would just saying we have 2 10s, which would be 2 10s. And this is what they use more often. So again, 30, they do have a shape for it. It's something like that, but more often than not, they will just say 3 10s. And after 40, they just don't even have a 10s. You really would just say 5 10s, 6 10s, whatever. So the 40, for the most part, they just use 4 10s. Okay? And then 100 is, again, I'm probably really lucky that I don't live in a culture that you have to draw nice fancy things for this. So that's 100, and then 1,000 looks something like that. That turned out pretty good. Okay, so then they can use any combination of things, and they'll say, so for example, we have, let's just try to do our year. So 2020, this would be 2000s. So we would say 2000. We would say 0 hundreds, but their 0 is actually a really fancy, I wrote 0 here because one list had that. So I'll put a 0. They actually have a really fancy glyph for that. I just can't draw it, so we're just going to go with 0. So 0 hundreds. And then 20 would be 2 tens. And you don't have to put the 0 ones. I think that's how it works. I'm not perfect, I promise. What we're going to be using, though, we just really need the 1 through 9 for the activity today. And the activity today is why I taught you how to do Sudoku in the first place, because I have a Sudoku in Chinese numbers. So this is what you're going to do for the Chinese portion of this assignment. Okay, bye.